NAQT, National Academic Quiz Tournaments. NAQT extends a warm greeting to all players preparing to attend its 2021 Individual Player National Championship Tournaments. Championship season is always our most wonderful time of year, and we're excited that you'll be joining us for our online championship events. This video will help prepare players for either the middle school or the high school IPNCT. We want to express our gratitude for your continued participation, and we wish the best of luck to everyone as you get ready to compete. In order to establish a reasonable competitive environment for all participants, NAQT has established equipment requirements for players at its 2021 National Championship tournaments. These requirements are mandatory. Players not meeting these standards will not be permitted to compete. Each player must use a computer with a webcam, which may be either internal or external. NAQT strongly recommends that players use desktop or full-featured laptop computers. Tablet computers and Chromebooks are not prohibited, but full-featured laptop or desktop computers ensure better video and audio quality during matches. Each player's computer must be connected to the Internet. NAQT strongly recommends a connection that provides at least 2.5 megabits per second of bandwidth, both upstream and downstream. Quick and free speed tests are available at speedtest.net. Where these speeds or stable connections can't be obtained on wireless connections, NAQT suggests using a hardline connection to your Internet access point using an Ethernet cable. Even a long cable can provide very good connections. For computers without an Ethernet port, USB to Ethernet adapters are inexpensive and easily available. Finally, players must use a headset, headphones, or earbuds during gameplay. NAQT strongly recommends that players use either a headset with an integrated microphone or a separate external microphone, rather than relying on the computer's internal microphone. A lightweight headset like those provided with mobile phones with an inline microphone will work. Earbuds or headphones may be used, but the use of external or internal speakers is prohibited. NAQT's 2021 National Championships will be played over Zoom, using buzzin.live as the player's signaling device. Zoom is a free-to-use meeting application, which will not require players, coaches, or spectators to create an account. Participants should make use of Zoom's native client applications for your computer. While Zoom does have a browser-based option, connections in the Zoom browser client are both less stable and more prone to garbled audio than the native clients and should not be used. The Zoom client for your device can be found at zoom.us/download. Zoom provides a free, on-demand test meeting service that will allow players to test their computer's video and audio connection to Zoom's servers. Visit zoom.us/test. NAQT strongly recommends that all players connect to the test meeting using the computer, webcam, audio equipment, and Internet connection, which they will use for the tournament, to ensure that Zoom works correctly on their devices. For each game, a link to a Zoom meeting will be provided on the tournament schedule and/or by the moderator at the end of the previous game. During 2021 NAQT National Championships, players will signal on toss-up questions using buzzin.live, an online buzzer system. Buzzin.live works in the browser of a computer, tablet, or smartphone, with no download or account required. Players may have buzzin.live open on the same computer as Zoom or on a separate device. Either is acceptable. To test buzzin.live on the device you plan to use during the tournament, go to buzzin.live on a different device. Then click Create Game and choose Free Tier and Create. At the top of the screen, a game code will be displayed. Then, on the device to be used during the tournament, visit buzzin.live and choose Join Game. Then enter the game code for the game you created and enter your nickname in the nickname field, then click Join. You'll be able to buzz in and see the resulting buzz on the other device. For each game during the championship, a buzzin.live code will be provided by the moderator or scorekeeper in the Zoom game room. During gameplay at NAQT's national championships, there are specific ways that players, chaperones, coaches, and spectators should configure their software. Both Zoom and buzzin.live require a name that will be shown to other users. Zoom calls this a display name, while buzzin.live calls it a nickname. During the championship, all players, coaches, chaperones, and spectators must use a special format for this name. Players should use the letter P in square brackets, followed by their first and last names. Coaches, chaperones, and spectators should use CO, CH, and SP, respectively, in square brackets, again followed by their first and last names. Non-players should identify which player they are associated with if a member of the NAQT staff asks. Spectators are certainly encouraged to log into Zoom and watch the matches, but they should not log in to buzzin.live. On buzzin.live, only the first 16 characters of the nickname will be displayed. Participants should simply use the first 16 characters of their correctly formatted display name, omitting any extra characters. If you use Zoom without an account, you will be prompted for a display name when you join a meeting. Enter the correct display name and choose Remember My Name for future meetings to make that your default display name. If you use an account, Zoom defaults its display name to the full name you used when registering. To avoid needing to change the display name when entering each new game room, participants may log out of their Zoom accounts and use the method previously described, or they may update their default display name. To do this, visit zoom.us/profile or click My Account from the Zoom homepage. Once there, click Edit next to your name, enter the correct display name in the Display Name field, and choose Save Changes. To change Zoom display names while logged into a meeting, select Participants from the menu at the bottom of the screen. Click on yourself in the list of participants, choose More, and choose Rename. Then update your display name. To set your nickname in buzzin.live, type in the Nickname field when entering the room. Any characters that don't fit may be omitted. To change your nickname, leave the room and re-enter with the same game code, choosing the new nickname as you do so. Players must be visible on camera at all times during gameplay. There should be no red slash through your camera in the bottom menu on Zoom, and you should be able to see an image of yourself in the meeting. If your camera is turned off, you will see a red slash. Click the camera icon to activate your video feed. Zoom and buzzin.live are the only windows that may be open on the player's computer. If a player chooses to use a phone as a buzzer, only buzzin.live may be active on their phone, and the phone's Do Not Disturb feature must be active. Players' video feeds must be on at all times. If video is lost, a player will not be permitted to participate until it is fixed. Additionally, players must either be using a headset or a noise-filtering external microphone, or use Zoom's built-in push-to-talk feature. Said another way, players not using a headset or external microphone must keep their audio muted and push a key to speak. The default key for Zoom push-to-talk is the spacebar. Zoom chat must not be selected for push-to-talk to function. Players, coaches, chaperones, and spectators are prohibited from recording NAQT National Championship gameplay and discussing question content with anyone who is not in the room for the game in question. NAQT's 2021 Individual Player National Championship tournaments will be played under NAQT's published game rules with the IPNCT modifications, further modified for online play. A complete description of rules changes made for online championships is available in the online tournament guide. Read the guide at naqt.com/online. Here are summaries of the modifications to the rules that NAQT has made for online play. Timing rules are unchanged from NAQT's in-person individual championships. Players have 3 seconds to signal after the question has been completed, and 2 seconds after signaling in which to begin an answer. The number of questions in a round depends on the specific format and on which round of the tournament is being played. Private communication not visible to all participants is prohibited while the game is active. This includes private Zoom chat messages, Discord servers, whether public or private, text messages, social media interactions, and any other form of communication. Additionally, this restriction applies to private communication with any person, whether or not they are a participant in the game, in the tournament, or in Quiz Bowl in general. Players may communicate in private with other participants while the game is stopped. For example, coaches may conference privately with their players at halftime. Ordinarily, answers must be given verbally using Zoom's audio connection. However, if a moderator is unable to hear or interpret the answer being provided by a player, the moderator may decide that the player should type an answer in Zoom chat. Only the moderator may make this judgment. A player may not request it. A moderator's judgment as to whether an answer should be typed and as to misspellings and typos in the typed answer is final and is not protestable. If a player's connection drops, or if the moderator determines that the player's connection quality makes it impossible for them to participate in the game, the moderator will stop the game at the conclusion of the current question. The moderator will then allow up to 1 minute for the player to rectify the situation. This will be permitted up to twice per game per player. Otherwise, play will continue without that player. Once they have resolved their issue, they will become active again at the start of the next question. If a player disconnects after having signaled, this will be treated as an incorrect answer. The moderator has sole authority to determine if a player's connection makes it impossible to participate. This determination is not protestable. If audio difficulties exist during the reading of a question, no player may request a rereading of the question, but the moderator may reread part or all of a question if, in their sole judgment, a technical issue or other error prevented part or all of the question from being transmitted in a comprehensible form to the players. This determination, which is not protestable, must be made before any player has signaled, and only if the moderator has a specific reason to suspect the issue, such as being muted or having dropped their connection. Players' assertions alone are not sufficient. Protests regarding network issues, including but not limited to audio quality problems and latency and its handling by buzzin.live, are not permitted and will not be entertained. Games at NAQT's individual player national championship tournaments are arranged in such a way as to sort players by ability, using game results over the course of the day. Those who have attended a previous IPNCT may recognize the transition cards that enabled this schedule system. Only room assignments for the first round of the tournament are set in advance. All remaining schedule assignments are determined by outcomes of prior rounds. The online schedule, which NAQT will provide to all players, will update dynamically during the tournament. Each player should get their Round 1 Zoom link from the online schedule. After each game, the staff will provide a Zoom link for the next round to each player via Zoom's chat feature. The online schedule will also update as the results of each game populate the matchups for the next round. Prior to the tournament, all participants should have installed and tested the Zoom client application for their device and tested buzzin.live on the device they plan to use as a buzzer. In the days preceding the tournament, NAQT will publish a schedule for the tournament. This schedule will provide you with a Zoom game room link for each game. No later than 5 minutes prior to the start of the first game, all players and coaches should open the Zoom meeting for their first game using the link from the schedule and using the correct display name. All NAQT Zoom meetings will make use of a waiting room to control access to the game room. The moderator will admit participants from the waiting room into the main meeting and readmit participants if their connection drops. Players should have their video active. With a headset, audio should be unmuted. Without a headset, audio must be muted. Push the spacebar to talk if you are muted. Coaches, chaperones, and spectators should have video active, but audio muted. The staff will provide a game code for buzzin.live via Zoom chat, and all players should join the room. Coaches may also join, but spectators should not. Examples of correct display names for the nickname field are shown here. Once the game begins, it will work just as NAQT Quiz Bowl always has. Players will signal using buzzin.live and be recognized by the moderator. Since the moderator cannot meaningfully gesture or look at players, moderators will recognize players by name. While players will be recognized by name, a player who has signaled may still begin an answer before being recognized. All games at NAQT's 2021 Individual Player National Championship tournaments will be played in groups of 7 to 10 players, hearing 44 to 72 toss-up questions in each round. Toss-up questions are scored normally, with a correct answer earning either 10 or 15 points, except that multiple players may receive a penalty for interrupting the moderator with an incorrect answer. When a player reaches a certain score threshold, which is listed on the format description and will be announced in the game room for each round, that player is said to have buzzed out. A player who has buzzed out has locked in their next game assignment and will not participate further in this round. In a normal group game, there is no limit to the number of players who may buzz out. At the end of the game, players are ranked first by the order in which they buzzed out, and then by their final score. In a group elimination game, a limited number of players will advance in contention for the championship. Players buzz out normally, except that when one fewer player has buzzed out than will advance at the end of the game, no further buzz-outs are permitted. For example, if 5 players will advance in contention to win the championship, then only 4 players may buzz out. After that happens, all remaining players will play all remaining questions. The top-scoring player among these players will advance. The final ranking will again be by the order in which players buzzed out, followed by the final score. The final game will be played between the top 8 players, who qualified via progressive elimination games. In the final game, there are no buzz-outs. Instead, after 24 toss-ups and every 8 toss-ups thereafter, the player with the lowest total score is eliminated. When 2 players remain, the player with the higher score after 8 final toss-ups will be the individual national champion. The other players in the final will be ranked in reverse order of their elimination. Most ties among players who have not buzzed out will be broken by statistical means. If 2 or more players are tied for the final advancement spot in a group elimination game, the tied players only will play a normal NAQT tiebreaker, consisting of 3 toss-up questions, followed if necessary by sudden victory, sudden elimination toss-ups, where a correct answer wins the tiebreaker and an interrupt penalty eliminates that player. Players may not buzz out during a tiebreaker. In particular, if a player's correct answer on the first or second question of a tiebreaker would put that player over the buzz-out threshold, that player must still compete on the remaining tiebreaker questions and may be outscored and defeated. In the final match, if the last 2 players vying for the championship are tied, they will play a normal tiebreaker. All other ties for elimination in the final match will be broken statistically. When the game ends, the staff will provide each player with a Zoom link for their next game. Players should leave the Zoom meeting and Buzzin.live room and open the meeting link for their next game. Subsequent games in the tournament will follow much the same process. If at any time a participant becomes lost and doesn't know where they need to be, an atrium will be provided in the form of a standalone Zoom meeting. There, players and coaches can receive assistance in determining what Zoom meeting they should be in or in solving technical problems that arise during the tournament. We hope that this spring's NAQT National Championships will be exciting, engaging, memorable, and fun for all of our participants. Have a great spring, and we'll see you for Toss-Up 1.